Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Today I thought maybe we could discuss more on order blocks.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. Yes. I was looking at them yesterday, so perfect.
All right. So what I am sure of is order blocks are easy to find. All right. So order blocks, right? Like I said yesterday, it's basically an area that made like that caused the big reversal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're saying, let's put it on our 4-hour time frame, right? So we're saying we're looking, let's say price is in an uptrend, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
want to see where it might reject or where it might have the big rejection that will cause a big drop. So you're looking at Ocean. You're looking at an area, right? That caused a big reversal. In that area, you're looking at the last, let's say price is in an uptrend, then you're looking at the last bearish candle. If it is in a downtrend, then you're looking at the last bullish candle. And what price normally does, it comes back to that area to retest that area before it can push again in the direction that it's going in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, so let's say this is our 4-hour time frame, right? Let's say we're seeing that price is in a downtrend, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
technically it's about to be in a downtrend if it manages to drop from here. So we're saying we want to see the last area, that the last support, right? Our previous support. And we want to see if there is an area or if there is a candle that caused the big move, right? So we would have to look at this move, right? This was the uptrend. So we're saying the last area, the last big area, we would say maybe possibly this one, because if you look at the low, right, price
Mm-hmm.
came up, created a low right here, came up, created a low right here, right? So this is our last low, or our last
Mm-hmm.
significant low, because we could also consider this one, but there
Mm-hmm.
wasn't
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't much around this area. So this would be our last significant low, because price actually tried to retrace. So on our last low, we're looking at our last bearish candle, which is this candle. And you can even see how price had a low right here, right? And then it
Mm-hmm.
went up, and then it came back to create a new low. So this new low is the one that made price to push all the way up.
Yeah.
So let's say you manage to catch a trade from here, right? So from here, now you're saying you want to catch the drop, having your first take profits here, and then you want price to drop into this order block range, right? But and then you take your profits there. So it would be best to take your profits just above that red candle, because
Mm-hmm.
price can come and touch just the top of it, right? And then pull back up. Or it might come back into the range of that 1 hour candle. Because what I would say for other people would, I would say highlight this candle, right? Because this is our last candle. So when you highlight that candle, yes, you want to see price dipping into this area, but coming back to close above the area. So
Okay.
the moment it dips into the area and closes above, that's your confirmation that price is now Ocean. Jeez. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
That says price is now bullish pressure that can push price all the way up.
Yeah.
So what other people would want to catch the trade with a buy limit or so, or something like that, right? So what they would do is you go on the 1 hour time frame, right? Let's go on the 1 hour time frame. And then you use the Fibonacci, right? On the 1 hour candle, which is these two candles, or this whole area, right? And then on the Fibonacci, they are looking for the 61 or 50% retracement. So let's say from here. Right, and then you want to see the 50% retracement around this area, and then they want to put their buy limits there, because sometimes or most of the time price dips into that candle 50% and then it rejects it.
Yeah.
So some people would place their buy limits there, but then that's for the more risky entry, right? But if you want a safe entry, then you want to watch price dip into this area, do whatever it does, because it will dip into this area, then pull
Yeah.
back up. When it closes above, especially if it's a 4-hour candlestick, then you know price is ready to continue going higher.
Yeah.
All right, is it making sense?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, so
Yeah.
let's say we're talking about the price action, where price is at right now, right? And we were watching price do this whole bullish move, right? And we wanted to see where it will reject next, or where is our order block for it to reject and drop,
Yeah.
or have the retracement, right? Then we would have gone, let's say maybe on the daily time frame, and then we are looking at the last bullish candle before this drop happened. Was this drop, because we're expecting price to do the same drop around here. So we want the last bearish candle, the last bullish candle before the drop happened, right? And that would be this candle right here, right? So if we have that candle as our order block, right, we want to highlight it. Let's say around this area, right? We want to highlight this area.
Okay.
Right, so now we have our order block, right? We can now go on the lower time frames, which is the 4-hour time frame, and then it actually does make sense, because you can see how the low of our order block, right? That's where price tried rejecting, but it pushed higher, dipped all the way into the order block, right? And now it's trying to push down. So this is the area where you want to sell if price does break. But using our own analysis, of course, we have a sell from the top, right? But for safer entries, or for a long-term sell, then we want to enter as price breaks this low. So basically you want price to drop, retest, and then when it comes to break the low, then you have long-term sales, right? So if price manages to break below this order block, you can even see price dropping all the way to, let's say, around this area.
Okay.
Yes, because remember, as much as price is going higher, it hasn't actually done a proper retest. Because if we look at price, we had price move up, right? Some sort of a range, and then it moved up, and then we had a range, and then it moved up. It tried ranging, but it pushed higher, right? So we can safely say, let's say this was our 1, right? And then we can say this is our 2, 3, 4, and then we could say this was our 5.
Yeah.
We could also say possibly this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Either way, it's telling us that the trend is exhausted and price needs to do some sort of a proper retracement before it can push higher.
Okay.
Because remember, there's a trend within a trend, right? So if this is a 5 wave, then that's complete. That means on the higher time frames, it's not yet complete. On the higher time frames, it's only one impulse that has been complete. So we need to see a correction, and the correction would be our proper retracement on the smaller time frames. So right now,
Yeah.
say where do you think it would actually drop to if it's doing a proper retracement? I would say probably around this area, because
Okay.
this is the last area that we had something that's actually happening, a proper consolidation, a proper range that happened here, right? So price can actually push higher like it did, and then it can drop all the way back to this area before it pushes further up. Right.
Is that 50% of the candle?
Yes, 50% should be around this area. And then if it wants to reach 61.8, then we could get it. We could get it to reach to do the full retracement before it pushes higher.
Yeah.
Now, to see if we are correct, right? Let's check the weekly time frame. Was on the weekly time frame, right? This was a very strong area for it to break, and we said price isn't going to break just because, right? And if we look at our candles, we have a bullish candle, bearish candles, right? And we have had bullish candles. So we are bound to end to have at least one or two bearish candles before price can push higher, or before price can break this area. Because for it to break, it's going to need a lot of bullish pressure to push higher, because this is a strong resistance. So if we are looking for a retracement, then that brings us back to the area that we're expecting it to drop to before it pushes higher. So that tells us that our analysis is correct, because price has been pushing higher, but it hasn't been able to create a bearish candle, and we need to see that bearish candle before price can push higher.
But bearish candle on the lower time frame?
On the
or here?
No, on the weekly time frame. This is the weekly time frame.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. I think for today, you can actually catch this trade. Like, see, price tested the high. Like, remember yesterday when I said we should see beginning of New York, we should see price come back to test the high before it can drop. It did that, right? And then beginning of London session, it tested the high before it dropped. So since it has already tested the high and it did close below our support, and if we can have this 1 hour candle that's printing right now close below support, we should see price dropping all the way to this area and possibly this area. So what we want to see right now is we want this candle that's printing right now to close bearish, and then we can say maybe we can have a bullish candle that comes back up before price can drop again. Because if we look at our 1 hour, or this is 1 hour time frame, if we look at our 30-minute time frame, 30-minute time frame closed very well, right? If you look at our 15-minute time frame, right, this was our, I think our range was somewhere around, let's say here, right? This candle retested, this candle retested. So if this candle can pull down and close bearish, we should see price reaching the area that we wanted to reach. So for you to actually catch this trade, right, even if this candle closes bullish, right, it's okay, but it destroys, maybe I can say destroys our structure. Because if it closes bullish, right, then there's a chance that it's closing back above now resistance, and that's back in the range. And if it's back in the range, then during New York, it still has chances of pulling back to the high to retest before it can drop. Even if it's not the initial high, it will come back up to retest this area before it drops. Because now this area becomes our order block. Because we're saying before this big move happened, right? What was our last bullish candle? This candle. So on this candle, we have an order block. So for this order block to work, right, we will need price to pull all the way back into the range and then drop. So that would have been our trade. Because right now, if this candle doesn't close bearish, it's saying that price is now some bullish pressure to retest before it drops. And that's the last area that we can expect price to retest before it drops, and that's where our order block is. So there is high chances that
that's a good trade. That's a very good trade then.
Yes, it is a very good trade, right? But if price goes back into the range, then there are chances that price might not actually drop. Because if it's going back in the range, right, then that means this is now a fake out, and price is room to try and push out of the range. So what it might do, right, if this turns out to be a fake out, right, we might see price pushing back into the range, retest the support, and then goes all the way back up, right, give us a fake out if the drop is going to happen, and then we'll get the initial drop.
Okay, gotcha.
But that's only if price comes all the way up to this area and doesn't reject.
Yeah.
And if this candle does not close bearish. So we need to see how this candle that's printing right now closes for price to give us something. Because right now, the candle that's printing right now really does need to close bearish. And then we can say price's chances of dropping further without having to risk much on the retracement.
Yeah.
But even if it drops further, right, then you keep in mind that this is our support, and if it manages to drop, let's say it drops to around this area, right, and that's before New York session. So when New York session happens and you're not in this trade, right, all you need to do is to wait for price to spike up and then drop like it did yesterday with this candle. So it will be spiking up for the retest and then drop.
Okay.
So there's still an opportunity to enter. It will have to do something similar to this, like how we did yesterday, this candle or this candle. Something like that. Then we can have price dropping further.
Gotcha.
Yes. Is there any other pair that you would like us to look at?
We can maybe Euro USD.
Euro USD. All right. Oof. All right, Euro USD. All right, on Euro USD, it's quite interesting. All right, let's check our 4-hour candle. Our daily candle. All right. So remember we said if price manages to push higher, it should complete this week fill before we drop. And we can say it completed the week fill as we suspected. So since it completed the week fill, right, we want price to retest, and since it's a daily time frame and we don't have any retest, we can safely say the retest can be very much possible. So that's the low that we are targeting, because this is the last area that it broke out. So this is the low that we are targeting. And then from this low, we want price to reach, actually, we just need to go on the lower time frames to check. Let's go on the 4-hour time frame. All right, this is the 4-hour time frame. I would say let's put our low right here. All right, on the 4-hour time frame, right, price has created some sort of a structure. Now this becomes a range because price created a high, right? And then we had some sort of a fake out around this area. And then we have a bearish engulfing candle that's covering all of these candles. And we like that bearish engulfing candle. So if we go on our 1-hour time frame, we can now highlight the areas that we are looking at. So we're looking at this low, right? And right, using order blocks, we are saying, what was our last bullish candle before price did this drop? And that would be
that green candle
area and this area, right? So for price, if this candle closes bearish, we might see price drop again. But if it doesn't, we could see price coming back to reach as this area before it can drop. to where we want it to drop. So if you
Mm-hmm.
don't catch price retesting around this area, right, pushing all the way up here to this area, if we don't get price doing that, right, then you want it to close below this area, right? Once it closes below this area, it might actually give you structure before it even closes below that area, because if we go on our 30-minute time frame, price looks like it has created a high right here. So if price has created a high right here, that means price can drop, close below, right, come back up, retest this high that it has made, and then drop to where we want it to go, right? So you need to watch price. You need to watch the candle that's printing right now. If the candle that's printing right, it closes above, right, then you're watching price to come all the way to our order block before it drops, right?
Yeah.
That's if you're watching, if this 30-minute closes above. But if it doesn't, then we are still watching this high, right? Then we want price to close below. Once it closes below, then watch for price to retest this high. Even if it doesn't get to the high, you just want price to push up, and then when it's about to come to close down, you enter your trade for price to drop all the way to our next low. But your first take profits should be around this area.
Yeah.
Because there was some resistance right here, so price can find some support there before it can drop further to the next to our initial support.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Gotcha.
I'm not sure how this candle is going to close, but if it doesn't close bearish and it closes above, then just wait for price to come all the way to our order block.
Order block and then drop. Okay.
And then drop.
Gotcha.
There you go. Yes. All right. So that's 2 trades for you. Let's see if you can catch one today.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm gonna up my lot size now.
Yes.
It's small to slow. Yeah.
All right. I think that's it for today.
Yeah. Perfect.
Have a good day.
Then I will keep you updated.
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great.
All right.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
All right.